All right. Oh, okay. Question and answer time is Q&A. Guys, thanks so much for sending questions after I asked if you guys would have any on Instagram, the other socials, YouTube. I asked you guys if you had any questions for me, hopefully regarding music or whatever. I said ask anything, and you guys came through, and I am actually extremely excited to do this, as you can tell. And I kind of grouped together I made a list here of, because a lot of them were super similar, so I just went for what I saw were the most popular reoccurring questions, and I put them all on this list, with a couple at the end that were not as popular. Only a few, I think one of them only one person asked, but they stuck out to me, and I put them at the end because I want to answer them. So we're going to get right into it here. All right. Question number one, where are you from/live? Where are you live? I am from Fort Worth, Texas, originally. I was there till I think it was about like 9 or 10, something like that. And then we moved to the region where I currently reside at. I don't want to be too specific because of all the weirdies on the internet. And I'm just so famous that I worry about people breaking down my door. I will say I live very close to Seattle, and that's where we moved to, and that is where I reside currently. Same spot, very close to Seattle, but originally from Fort Worth, Texas. How I am so pale and don't have an accent, I do not have the answer. So, question number 2. How many instruments do you play? Technically, 8. But like 3 of them, it's more like they're variations of things that I actually play. For example, accordion, which I use the accordion that I got in, I think it's track number 8, Over and Over. If you listen carefully, you can hear the accordion track throughout the whole thing. I think it kind of more or less ends on that accordion swell at the end. Which I was pretty proud of that. I thought it was cool. A cool thing to add in that song. But I don't really play the accordion. I can just get by, and same with 2 of the other instruments. But I have the core ones down: bass, drums, piano, guitar. And as most instrumentalists know, once you get those, especially piano, with, you just need a MIDI keyboard, you can do just about anything else. Either mimicking it through producing on the computer, or when you get other stringed instruments, if you know how to play guitar, you can get by, usually. Did you create the entire album? From writing, to playing all the instruments, to recording, producing, etc. I am extremely proud to say yes. I wrote the entire thing. Well, kind of. It goes into the next question, so I'll leave the suspense there. But all the instruments, all the recording, obviously singing, and producing, I'll get to that. But yes, pretty much everything was me. The instruments, the recording, I did that all right here, actually, in here. Recorded everything, played all the instruments, produced to an extent. That's where it gets tricky, because I do have a producer that what I would do is I would mix. I'm not an audio engineer by any means, so I would mix the tracks, I would record everything, mix the tracks to the best of my ability, and then send everything to him, and he would perfect it in the mixing and mastering department, and that would make the final cut. I will say there are 2 songs that I produced completely. Like, as in, again, the whole thing I wrote, did all the instruments, recorded here, but then I would just send it off to my producer so he could perfect it. And there's 2 songs that I did completely, and that is Over and Over, the one I just mentioned with the accordion, and Swore to Defeat. Those are the 2 songs that I did all by myself, as in, I didn't ever send it to my producer. So I'll leave that to your discretion, as if I did a good job. But that goes into question number 5. That's what I wanted to pause on, because it says, who is the girl who sings? And I'm sure that's referring to the mysterious girl voice that appears on Red Roses, and then again the deluxe version, which was released more recently, All the Time Before. That is, and most of you know, I was actually I found it funny that this question was asked because most of you who follow me know that it's not just me. It is me and my sister, Conley. I'll leave her a plug up there. She has Instagram. Go follow her. And we, as kids, would write songs together, and still do. And so that's why I will not take credit for writing everything, because I definitely did not. She is my partner in crime, and we how it usually goes is she is amazing at writing lyrics and creating the stories, and she'll send them my way, and I put the music to it. Is how it goes. And then there's workshop, and a lot of times we'll bounce ideas off of each other, and there's lyrics I have, but pretty much every song is written by us as opposed to just one of us. So I'm very much not only by night. We are only by night, and she's iffy on the name. She's not sure she even likes the name, but it doesn't matter. She's a part. She is only by night just as much as I am. So she just has to learn to live with it, I suppose. But anyways, that is who the girl who is singing is. The much better singer than I am, Conley, my sister. Moving right along. Number 6. Are you married? Yes, I am. Very insightful. I think in a lot of my videos, hopefully all of them, I have my wedding ring on. And actually, more recently, I got my wedding ring tattooed, which I need to get touched up on because finger tattoos actually fade pretty bad. As you can see, it's like pretty much gone. So I gotta get that worked on. But yes, I am married. And she is the best thing that has ever happened to me. By far. I'll say her name is Naomi, and she has inspired many a song in this album. And when people say that, it's usually like, oh, the love songs, and I don't have a lot of love songs. I think I only have one on the album. But just inspiring in the sense of inspiring the will to write and to think about all these things that are most of these songs that end up making the cut. And she's just, what I'm trying to say horribly is she is the inspiration of my life. Question number 7, possibly just as important as the previous question. Do I have any pets? Yes, I do. I have 2 cats. Right here we have Sprout. She is our first cat that we got here. And now you are seeing Spud, our second cat. And yes, you can laugh all you want. It's Sprout and Spud, but it's adorable and you know it. And they are the best. And they are featured actually in a couple of different videos, I think, that I have where they're in the background doing their cat things. And they are amazing. Cats are the best. You can't deny it. All you dog people, you can't deny it. Cats are the best. I don't care what you say. Question number 8. How long have you been making music? Quite a while. The first song I ever wrote, I guess we can call that the start of making music. I think I was like 15 or something, and I still remember it to this day. And I could easily play it right now. I will not, but I remember it completely. It's the first song I ever wrote. So I will say since I was 15 years old. Question number 9. What is your favorite song on the album? I kind of go back and forth. I think overall, my favorite song would probably be Nobody. Just because it's very me. I think it just is a very melodic melody, if that makes any sense. I think it's a very pleasing melody. I haven't gotten tired of it yet, I guess is how I would say that. Whereas the other ones, I haven't gotten tired of any of it necessarily, but that's the one that every time I listen to it, I feel like it hits in the same way as when I first wrote it. And that's important, I would say, because sometimes you write something and it really hits you as you write it, and then It's still a good song, but every time you listen to it after, it doesn't always hit the same way. And I would say that that song consistently hits the same way. But a close second would have to be The Slipstream. That's a special song to me, and I feel it speaks a multitude of things that I feel. I just like the way it sounds. I like the way it flows, and I like the chord progressions and everything there. So I would say either Nobody or The Slipstream. Those are probably my two favorites. Oh, and I actually really love Red Roses. I actually had to convince Conley to even do that, to put that on the album, because she was kind of like, and this is kind of an insight actually, some of these songs we wrote actually quite a while ago, and they just never saw the light of day, and I was like, kind of trying to cherry pick the best ones. I'm like, you know, because as you grow older, you're like, oh, that's kind of cringe. Why did I even write that? And so I, to the best of my ability, put those aside. But there were some that was still like, okay, this is still good, or even this is good musically. Maybe we'll just tweak some stuff about it, tweak some lyrics, things like that. And Red Roses was one of those. I always have felt Red Roses hit really hard. And when I told Conley that, she was kind of like, oh, really? Should we do that one? Do you really want to do that one? I was like, yes, it's going to be amazing. And it really was. That, fun fact, was the second song we worked on for the album. The first was the first track, Distorted. And then the second was Red Roses. And that was, after I made Red Roses, I was like, this is something. And I was far more inspired than ever to continue making the rest, because I just thought it was so good. So those are my top three for sure. Red Roses, The Slipstream, and Nobody. Question number 10. Where did the title Somewhere Between Heaven and Earth come from? So Somewhere Between Heaven and Earth, the title track of the album, which has the same name, obviously, is a song. Again, it's an older song that Conley and I wrote together. I remember specifically writing it. And I thought it just sounded so good just with acoustic. That's why I left it without any other instrumentation or anything, really. And around writing that song, I think must have been like 16 or 17 or something. I wrote that, and I'm like, this is a title track for an album. Whenever I make an album, it will be called Somewhere Between Heaven and Earth. And I knew that then. And as I said earlier, you grow older, and you're like, oh, as you age, you look back at things, you're like, oh, you either hate that you thought that way, or you're like, yeah, I still think that could work. And I have never lost sight of the idea of Somewhere Between Heaven and Earth being an album title, and that being the title track. I still think it's an amazing song that I'm super proud of. And it, in my mind, encapsulates the entire theme of the album. I love it when an album has like a story or a theme to tell. And our theme is very much that of this whole album, the idea of being torn. Essentially, when you boil it down, I can go on and on about analogies and metaphors of it. But what it really comes down to, was trying to say, is the idea of doing what you should do versus being pulled to do what you shouldn't do. And that's really, I think, puts it in the most kind of beautiful way to say it like that, somewhere between heaven and earth. So, that's where it came from. Question number 11. Did you know Kings of Earth would be a hit, and what is it about? Hit is obviously a hit, meaning that's one of the, is it the top song of mine right now? I can't remember if it's that, or it might be. Anyways, it's one of my most popular songs right now. And did I know it would be? I had a feeling it would be at least in the top 5. Going off of, again, we're going off of streams and views here. So I had a feeling it would be somewhere up there. I thought it had a really good chorus. And once I added that cool synthesizer that kind of flows up and down, I thought that was a really cool element. And it really came together in that way. And then adding the cool beat to it, I thought it would be in the top 5. I didn't think it would be like number 1 or anything. Of course, I'm very happy that it is, or at least close to. I can't remember which is number 1. I know it was for a while, so maybe that's where this is coming from. But no, I didn't know it would be the hit, so to speak. But I'm extremely happy that it is. And what is it about? It is about I was inspired by a passage of scripture from the Bible, as I actually often am. There are a lot of my songs are actually based off of Bible stories or Bible verses, things I read in there. Psalm chapter 2, verse 2. The kings of earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. So I read that, and as I've seen other songwriters talk about what has inspired them and how it comes into play, it really is oftentimes just like one word or one sentence, and you just are inspired. And that was very much the case here, because obviously I didn't use the rest of the verse. I just was inspired by that first part. The kings of earth set themselves. And that just kind of snowballed into the rest of the song. So read that chapter. It's a great chapter. Psalm chapter 2. And you'll see what inspired that song. All right, question number 12. How long did it take to make your album? So we started with the first song, as I think I already said, Distorted. That was the first song that I recorded and made, and the rest of the album was all over the place. I originally wanted to do it in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, as the songs are listed now, but for whatever reason it didn't work that way. It was kind of all over the place, recording-wise, but I think it took a little over a year to do everything. Yeah, that sounds right. A little over a year it took to make the album. What did you use to make your album? I assumed that was talking about equipment and maybe software. So I use Logic Pro. That's what I use to make everything that you hear. And as far as different equipment goes, I have the piano back there. I also have a couple of, I have this Rolly keyboard, which is cool for different synth noises and ways to slide on some of the synths. Then I have a couple MIDI keyboards, which are very much so, I would say, necessary for creating the atmosphere in each of the songs and all the background stuff. I have a drum pad that I did it's right there under the piano that I did most of the drums on. As opposed to a live kit, and I have all my different guitars. There's one right there. They're all over the place. That's what I use. And then software-wise, I have this pre-Sonos Studio 2.6 USB preamp, and I use that for recording everything, which plugs directly via USB into my Mac, and that's how I record everything. It's a two-channel input mic, XLR, or quarter-inch input. You can do either on the two inputs, so everything was very much one instrument at a time. But it's I recommend it, and this is the day and age where anyone, anywhere can make music for relatively very cheap prices. All you really need is your computer, your software, your instruments, and actually hardly even that. Usually just something to control MIDI. That's all you need these days. And then a preamp, though, if you are going to record real instruments. So it can hook to your computer and you can record away. All right, question number 13. I originally wanted to do 1 through 12, just how the album is 1 through 12. But I wanted to add this special question because I'm excited based on the answer, which is to this question: when is new music coming out? Very, very soon. Very soon after you're watching this video. And so soon, in fact, that in addition to this video, to end it, to close us out, I'm going to play a little sneak peek of my brand new single that is about to drop called Ricochet. Hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for asking your questions. Hope you enjoyed the answers. Yeah, out.
Arrows in the dark, land is close to the mark. Call that reality. A game of charades to determine who's to blame, then deny partiality.